We're live.
Live.
Says you.
Oh, someone will complain in a moment.
Hey man, that's just
These people again.
We got a boop.
all part of it. I mean, it shows up, do a show.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know like why anybody would intentionally be like, "Where's my punishment?"
I think that's Mir on Tuesdays because he's like, "Oh, where's the stream?" It's like, I hate it.
Oh man, that's just Mir. Mir's just like, I need something to complain about.
Hi, S. Michelle. Hi, Sharon. How you doing?
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Weekly Daily Wednesdays, bit of a pre-show. This is where we're gonna kind of get geared up to talk about some things that we've kind of found interesting going on as I search for something that should be labeled, and I don't see it. There it is.
Hi, Artherin. Hi, Brother Jellybean.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, Pedro, everyone already knew you were here. They could smell you.
Yes. Hey, I showered before we went live, okay?
Oh.
They sell a menthol body wash thing at Tesco's here, and I got it just to try it. It's definitely got some sort of menthol type thing in it, because the moment you apply it on your skin, it's like, oh, that's cold. Oh, that's cold.
That's just the lead.
Possibly.
Hi, Rohit. Hi, Mir PPC.
Stream Link isn't playing it anymore. Hey.
I don't know what Stream Link is.
I mean, there's always a stream link if you go to youtube.com/linuxgamecast/live. It will just redirect you to the latest live stream.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Patrick. It seems that they got me a new mug for my show. They probably found a cool one somewhere. A mug for the show. A cool one somewhere.
What is the stream link, Rohit?
It's his own made-up word. Leave him alone. Quit picking on him about it.
I'm curious now. Oh,
Rohit. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I just used MPlayer directly or VLC, but and my
I
mug
like
this
MPlayer.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite. The one we all started with. The original. Does all the things.
Yeah.
And my mug this week is... This is the name of the project for the monolith in 2001. It is, let's see if I can barely read this. Tycho Magnetic Anomaly 1 Project.
Sounds delicious.
So they were trying to figure out what that thing was, that black slab.
Man, flooded basements are the best basements.
Isn't that the natural state of basements?
It better not be. I'd be in trouble, man.
Oh, yeah, Ben. Oh.
It's like basements are not really a thing in Portugal, and my grandma on my father's side used to have a basement when she lived at her old place.
I was about to say that implies something happened to it.
No, it was constantly filled up with water.
Yeah.
There,
Oh, poor Pennywise. Oh,
Oh,
nasty. Yeah, basements aren't a thing here in California either because of earthquake laws. So all the new homes don't have them for safety. You can put a basement in, but it by law has to only be a third of the property.
You could put in an above ground basement.
Well, we kind of have one of those. I mean, we do. Although we do have an attic, and Stephen and I have thought about converting our attic because it's a nice tall one. We can walk up there, and we use it for storage.
I would use my attic for storage, but it's too long to get up there. By the time I'm there, I'm like, man, nah, it's good.
Oh, okay.
I got rooms.
Yeah. See, we could use the space.
Well, that's the vicious cycle, though. You got to break the cycle. Yeah. If you got a bunch of like empty space, leave it. It's good. Negative space.
Pretty sure Nori would have like a mental breakdown if there was an empty room in the house and she didn't do something with it. It's like, yeah, no, that place is empty. Needs something. Does it really? Yes.
No, it doesn't. Because anytime I think about buying something, I'm like, do I really want to move that? Because you're going to have to move that at some point. That is like one thing I've definitely decided with this giant glass desk that everything's stocked up on. Is like, you know what? This comes with a house now, by the way. I'm going to tell the realtor, I'm like, yeah, tell him desk is included.
Alright, I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be right back.
You just got a drink.
I need another.
He has 30 of them. This could be the only time he ever gets hammered on a Wednesday show. I mean, that's impressive. 8 p.m.
An empty room needs a leprechaun. Yeah, we need to put empty in it. We need to put empty in an empty room.
That's dark. You've changed.
Yeah, Arthur. True that. Yeah, I wish I had, you know, we have a tiny home, so we could stand to have a bigger house. But, I mean, it's actually, you know, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms for Steve and I is pretty good. But it's contained in only 1,150 square feet.
Mm.
So, you know, this is a 50s home, and this one hasn't been remodeled externally. It has been remodeled internally, but most of the houses around here are all mansions. You know, it's like.
Did you get a different type of beer?
Yeah. I bought like one of each of all the home brews that they have at Tesco's. This is a Marston's EPA, and it tastes very hopsy.
I was like, I'm familiar with IPAs. EPAs sounds a little dodgy.
No, just like the moment you get a taste of it, it's like hops. Hops everywhere.
Hmm. I don't trust it.
Yeah. And it's not particularly alcoholic. It's like 3.6. So,
well, that's pub beer, man. That's
yeah.
You can have that for breakfast.
Hello, Matthew Strider.
All right. Got 2 minutes before go time. I'm gonna go fill up my keg. It says keg on it, so I'm taking its word.
That is a huge, huge beverage container.
It works, and admittedly, it looks slightly more classy than just like mainlining the 2-liter.
Yeah. Yeah. It does, man.
All right. Oh, look, it's the explodey shield. Supposedly. This is the one with the explodey battery. Ever since I had to dig it up from under the pile of papers that's been accumulating on the coffee table. It's like, oh yeah, ever since I bought the Chromebook, I haven't used it. Huh. Alright. It's showing its age. It's like scuffs all over the place.
You've been getting a lot of good use out of it.
Yeah, this. Let's see. First tablet I got was the Asus Transformer TF300. It was a Tegra 3 chip. It's like, yeah, Tegras are nice. So when Nvidia said, "Oh yeah, we're releasing a tablet and it's like 200 euros," I'm like, "You what now?"
I know. Yeah, I wanted one too, but I decided, no, I'll wait on that.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, all right. And then, as we now know, it was literally the prototype for the Switch.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes, it can, Arthur. HR Luck on Twitter, ACHARLUK. He did a test not too long ago when Ubuntu Mobile was still officially supported, and it ran it. It ran it really well. And now that UB Ports is working on it, I don't know. That may be worth a shot. Let's see. GOG anime sale. Oh, they're going to sell all of those anime titties that Steam is so worried about.
GOG-Chan. Yeah, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
I look forward to that being on our fellow kids soon enough.
Didn't they release like a pilot at the very least for the anime that was about all the browsers? You had Internet Explorer and Firefox and Chrome as anime girls.
You know, I'm beyond joyous that I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a thing. It was like a meme, and then they said that they were going to do, I think. Hold on.
Use your words.
Kotaku.
Yeah, Matthew, the beep boop boop song. Yeah, we've had that every week here on LWW. I like it. It's actually one of my favorite ones.
Pedro, look in Discord. Mir beat you to it. Now I want you to go ring a bell and scream shame.
I punch you, yeah.
Don't have a bell around me, but I do have this. That's Internet Explorer, by the way.
Internet Exploder.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. That can stay right there in its unplayed form.
Aww.
Everyone else can click it if they want.
Steve Husband, yeah, I hope I'm not catching your itch. I'm not feeling the greatest. But I'd like to get over it before we go on our trip.
Ubuntu Maga. No. That almost sound... No, that's just wrong. No, Mr. Alert, we're not.
Yeah, Helen. Everyone has an itch. Ichi Sanchi.
Oh boy. Okay. I think I'm about ready.
Yes.
Definitely in the process of it. Actually, I think that might be too dark. I'll be able to bring that up. It was kind of horrifying because I just took like a picture of Jordan and full screened it on this monitor. So I had to deal with that this morning while adjusting. And it's kind of unnerving when you forget about it and you go squirrel and do other stuff and you come back downstairs and you're like, ah, why's Jordan on the... Oh, right.
Ah, yes, Jordan's unique blend of... he's always got that look that's half aloof, half judging you.
Yeah.
No, man. He's like a weeping angel.
No, he isn't. Oh.
Even that image was playing FTL. Okay, so Pedro's not up to anything this week. We'll skip that. And
what can I say? Nori left me alone yesterday and said, I'm going to Portugal for a week and a half. See ya.
it's adorable. You think she's coming back, too?
She better. She left a lot of stuff behind.
Yeah, that's not... I wouldn't even have to take that out of context. I could just play that straight. Put some nice romantic music behind it. It'll be great. Good times. It'll do wonders for your relationship. I mean, my amusement. Well, what are those two things that get confused?
Ben's amusement.
All right. Let's get that paused. All right, kids. Let's do a show.
Yes.
And hopefully the power won't go out in the middle.
Oh, yeah. That was a thing.
No thunderstorms this week.
Yeah.
Go back and watch out. Pretty super. We managed to record it thanks to Mike G and that big honking UPS. We never went down and we were able to record everything going down. It was a unique experience.
That was awesome.
That's a word one could use for it. Let's see. You will be Jill this week instead of Jordan.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, I was looking.
I know. I've detected that you two find amusement and joy from it, and I want to remove that from you.
Oh, heck, I just realized why I'm so dark. Let me turn a light. I'll be right back.
The power's been going out in Cali, but that's like kind of a normal thing.
That's the video I posted, Mir.
But he posted
Oh my goodness.
in GIF format.
Yeah.
That kind of turned me sideways one time when I was on Reddit, and they were like, man, these 60, they were doing 60 FPS, FPF GIFs, and they're like, these would be awesome if we could just put audio behind it. I was like, that's called a video, you fucking... Just, I don't know, reinvent the wheel. You see, that makes more sense.
ATM phishing, yes.
I forgot who it was in Discord earlier this morning. I forget, there was some subreddit, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of a silly subreddit. And I was like, you know what? It's no bread stapled to trees. Then,
of course that's a subreddit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's me, right? And then it was natural progression of like, wait for it. You're like, fuck. That's a real subreddit. It's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I've been collecting these things for a decade. All right. Yes. Let's go. Ready, Jill?
We have speed.
Well, yeah, you're in California. You got meth too, man. I mean, come on.
No.
Biker cranks.
See, man.
Getting worried about that movie. I don't think it's gonna be good. Gonna watch it. It's got Jason in it.
When it comes out on Netflix or like Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do we just want to go with a 3-shot with this for the opening, or do you want to go from bottom to top, or what?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's go from bottom
Okay.
to top. All right.
So, Julie, you're going second?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going second?
Mm-hmm. We're going from
Yes.
bottom to top. All right.
Oh, okay. Bottom to top.
Yeah. As if everything's not confusing enough.
Yeah.
Okay, shh. They're going to figure out at home we don't know what we're doing. 3, 2.
LibreOffice showed up on the Windows Store. No one told the Open Document Foundation about it, and using a Pi to drive a UPS for a Pi. Round 2.
And Music Brain's Picard finally gets a 2.0 release. And we still don't know how it works. And Lubuntu will discontinue i386 unless there is testing from the community.
And PeerTube has reached their funding goal. Now they just have to figure out what to do with it. And a journalist decided to take the Ubuntu Challenge and lived to tell the tale. It's going to be interesting to find out more on that, because it's another great day for Linux, everyone. So let's go.
I did do it in reverse order.
Yeah, you read it bottom to top.
You told me bottom to top.
Next week, we're going to try it sideways. All right. 3, 2. Wrong show. And 3, 2. And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we like to sit back, relax, and take a bit of a break. And talk about some of the fun things that we found going on in the world of open source, floss, penguins, you name it. It's all that business. I'm Vince Stone, joined every week by Jill, who is getting ready to head to Vegas and L.A. And in Britannia, you know him, one Pedro Montez.
Hello.
Keeping it real there. So, what's been new since last week, Jill? I kind of joked around, but you are actually going to Vegas, right?
Yeah, I really am. And I've been getting together my mobile broadcasting rig to broadcast from the Star Trek convention, at least probably for Jordan's show and the Friday Foo Bar. So for our stream Thursday and Friday. And I got my Asus Republic of Gamers 17.3-inch laptop. My big beast is coming with me. And I bought a nice mic for it. And hopefully it'll all work and the internet will be happy at the hotel.
Good times. How's the island treating you, my man?
It's making me feel rather lonely. Yes. So a while back, me and Nori decided that let's go to Portugal in the summer, and then I looked at the price for the plane tickets, and it's like, don't you just want to go yourself? And she did. So I'm all alone.
Wow, that's what it was. It sounds good. Peace out. True story. So I've been playing around. I was talking about in the pre-show. I was like, I'm just seeing CSS and all this fun stuff everywhere, because after 8 years, I counted, because I was looking through archives, because I was messing around with stuff. We're going to be doing an update to linuxgamecast.com and try to bring it kicking and screaming into like maybe 2014 web standards. I don't know.
Yes.
I've got most of it slapped out. I still got a gang of plumbing to do on the back end. And, Empty's offered to at least look into like one kind of small, huge, massive thing. And he seems to think it's doable. So we'll find out more about that when it sporadically just gets updated and I forget to mention it. All right.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan. So let's just get right into Microsoft and LibreOffice.
Yes, because something showed up on the Windows Store, and it was, it raised a lot of red flags. It's LibreOffice on the Windows Store. and it costs $2.99. So people were like, wait, is this legit? Are you guys like charging the stupid tax if people actually want to get LibreOffice from the Windows Store? And LibreOffice said, look, we have been made aware of an unofficial version of LibreOffice on the Microsoft Store. It's not official or created by us, and the money is not collected by us, so the apps page is misleading. LibreOffice can be downloaded for free at no cost from LibreOffice.org, where you should always go and get it. Unless you're running Linux, then it's probably in your distro's repos. Yeah, it's not legit, so do not install it, or, you know, if you happen to have a VM that you're confident that won't get hijacked, by all means, try it. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of those interesting things that you could even do this. And I don't know if it's still up, but I checked it yesterday, and I think I checked it this morning. It was still available. It's like, Microsoft, really? This is something that should be nuked from orbit. Why don't you just go ahead and throw a copy of Office on GitHub? That might be more interesting. But yeah, as you pointed out, man, they have nothing to do with this. They're not collecting money. Jill?
Yeah, and well, you know, I was just curious if Microsoft was not happy with the open document format becoming the international standard. Maybe they're a little upset about that. So, but probably not. It probably just is they're just not thinking and not paying attention. I don't know.
Again, as they say, never attribute to malice, which can be adequately explained by stupidity. However, it is Microsoft, so do not rule out malice.
Yes.
Next, the internet kind of talked about this last week, but this is a two-parter. Jason, a writer at Forbes, hi, you follow me on Twitter, a few weeks ago, he decided to spend 2 weeks with Ubuntu on a Dell XPS 13, which I initially thought that's a smart move considering, like, yeah, and it's a Dell XPS. They're kind of made for Linux, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just walks through, you know, switching over, getting everything together, and, you know, it's like Windows 10's finally upset me, and his experience setting it up. And I think he said exactly, he decided to take the nuclear option, which I was kind of curious. Can we really say Linux is the nuclear option in 2018?
I guess by nuclear, he meant the drive. Just nuke it and start fresh.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from that. Nuke and pave.
Yeah.
So he kind of talks, he's like, years ago, I remember having to manually select size and drive partitions. He kind of walks through all that. And I was a little bit perplexed by this, Jill, because if I remember correctly, years ago, is he talking decades ago? Because I do believe Red Hat had some basic auto partitioning back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That, partitioning has not been an issue on Linux for many, many years, as we know. And actually, for those of us who've been using it forever, never was an issue. And in fact, even way back as CorelDRAW and Mandrake, we had partitioning. But what was really awesome about that article, and because of the overwhelming response from the readers in the Linux community, he wrote a new article talking about the 5 reasons you should switch from Windows to Linux right now. And they were all really, really good points. And of course, those of us in the community already knew what these points would be. But one was that you can updates aren't a headache under Linux like they're under Windows. They're glorious. And as we know, update process in Linux you don't have to update each app individually like you do in Windows, but it updates all of them at once. Wow, isn't that a thing?
And as much as it pains me to admit it, it's been kind of a sad week for me because the 2 most popular Linux stories, news, things have been this, Jason Evangelho getting Linux to work on his XPS, and that Linus Tech Tips video that we'll talk about on Saturday. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We talk. Of course, we're going to talk about that on Saturday. He was really happy about the Snap Store. That was like a revelation. It's like, look, everything's in one place, and it's a good take and all that. Ironically, I'm going to say with Ubuntu, you might want to do that manual partition because home directories should be a thing. That it's not necessarily a thing.
Yeah.
So, good on you, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Stick with it. Linux is not the big scary command line thing that some people try to make it out to be.
Yeah, and he also loved the community, so that's really positive.
That's new.
And, yeah, that was new. And actually, one quick point is I love how he talks about using and switching to Linux from the perspective of your average Windows user, which is really, really good. And is perfect for the average Forbes user, which is your average user. Let's just face it. But they're very intelligent users, but readers. But they're probably
We're not going to be featured on Forbes, Jill. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a thing. Let's see. What do we have? I don't see an Arch logo. I'm just saying, he's probably heard about that. What do we get up next? PeerTube? That's the thing?
Yeah.
No, it's or is yes, it is.
Yes.
I am working off of the old link.
We talked about it earlier. PeerTube, the decentralized YouTube, has succeeded in crowdfunding. 100%, it's a thing. Would have lost the bet on this, but
yes.
Honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised. They ended up with 53,100 euros. That's 266% of what they were looking for. They plan to get version 1 out by the end of October. It's going to have localization for interfaces, languages, all that fun stuff, RSS feeds, improved search, a lot of good stuff. What else? And subscriptions. I know that's been a big thing. A lot of people have been looking for. We're currently on PeerTube because I was given some advice billions of years ago by one of the creators of Cyanide and Happiness. And he's like, how do you be number one in the comic? He's like, be the first. He was talking about webcomic. So I just went ahead and threw everything on there. But if we're going to be honest, I'm going to say, like, in its current state with PeerTube, and what little I've played around with it, what's setting up our two channel for this show and Linux Gamecast, is kind of more of a tech demo than anything else. And like it or not, Pedro, I think you got a little point on this. You're going to have to come up with a way to police some of the content.
Yes, it only took a couple of scrolls of the wheel in any of the instances that I visited to find the so-called mature content. So yeah, it's all well and good having a decentralized video hosting website, but there's some stuff that can get you in really hot water. Just saying.
Well, I mean, between that and they're sitting away, and it's like, we need some way to get our bots in there to DMCA all the things, because let's face it, I mean, we're on the Mastodon host because they have the most storage, and we're doing hour-long content. But you look at the live feeds, and I mean, it's just pirated content and French concert videos. One of the two. I don't see the connection. Jill.
Yeah, I actually, I was the same way as, Venn and Pedro. I never really thought this would go anywhere, but with all the recent issues with YouTube blocking videos, like from the Blender Foundation, it seemed, it seems to have taken off, especially in the Linux community and open source community. So that's been really awesome.
Well, I hope it's a better love story than Mastodon turned out to be. And yes, I look forward to your hate mail next week. It's still growing. It's 1 million users. And I'm like,
how many active users is that again? 2? Okay.
7, dude. Quit lying to people. Hey, I like the federated, decentralized idea. It does boil down to being able to find, organize, and subscribe to the content that you want, and you got to have the people there. So we've did our part. We moved our stuff over there. So i386 is a thing still.
Yeah, Ubuntu is going to stop support for 32-bit hardware going forward unless there is more activity from users downloading and testing the 32-bit ISOs from the ISO Q&A tracker for i386 and filing bug reports with Launchpad. We talked about this on LWW last week because the 1804 LTS release of Ubuntu will be the last to support older 32-bit hardware. And, you know, I had made a comment, well, if they're going to continue to support 32-bit, they're going to have to switch to another base such as Debian. So, but this is actually, you know, it's sad, but, you know, we knew it might happen, but actually, but because this was a lightweight OS, I was kind of hoping they would still support 32-bit. Still support my 486s back there because I do use it on some of the older machines. And I did download the ISO so I could test it. So
I don't know. I mean, kind of looking at it, I was reading between the lines, and it came across to me more as like, listen, Canonical's killing i386, and we're based on that, so you know what? Peace out. We're not going to be switching to anything, and we're going to keep using our system like we have it set up. And listen, I know people are like, but you know what? It's i386. It's dead, Jim. VMs, they're a thing. Let it go.
I will want to say one thing, though. You know, internationally, there's still a lot of third world countries using this older hardware.
Mm-hmm. So,
you know, it would be nice to have more distro support for that older hardware. But Debian is there. Some of the other open source projects in the community, like Computers for Kids, use Antix and some of the Debian derivatives on the old laptops that go into, you know, the kids' schools in poor countries. So that is a thing, actually.
And there is an argument to be made. It's like, oh yeah, preservation of old hardware, but still enabling it to run up-to-date versions of software.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is absolutely a thing, but are you really that attached to that 2009 Atom netbook that you can't update to anything more recent?
Yeah.
Please.
Hey man, I love my old retro hardware.
Yeah, well,
I have a T42, I do, and it's running Ubuntu 1804, but when that goes away, it's just like something to go on a shelf somewhere. It's like, yes, it's a T42. Yes, it still works. But I'm not going to use it.
I don't know, man. I mean, I really want someone to give me, send in some feedback for next week. I mean, if you have a legitimate use case for having a modern, up-to-date distro for your i386 system, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it'd be great. You know, maybe you got a bunch of old boxes. That always confuses me. It's like, look at all my retro computers I keep running. I'm like, why do you hate the environment? Do you know how power inefficient those things are? I mean, it's like, just go cut down a tree. It'll be quicker. All right. What do we got coming up next, Jill? Oh, this is from the Preshow.
Yeah, Preshow are in chat. And the music tagger Music Brains Picard has a new major release after 6 years. That's really awesome. And what this is, it's an open source software application for identifying, tagging, and organizing digital audio recordings, such as from compact discs, MP3s, waves, FLACs, and whatnot. And it was developed by the MetaBrains Foundation, a nonprofit company that also operates the Music Brains database. And it is the backend for all our multimedia players under Linux, including VLC, Kodi, Clementine, Rhythmbox, SoundJuicer for labeling music. And I've actually been using this for years to catalog my ambient music collection, mostly from CD, and it catalogs the disc, the ones that it can find in the database, and it does a really good job. And it's very good at finding rare, going through music and identifying rare tracks. And yes, as we stated earlier, our patron Preshow in Chat Realm is the community manager of the Music Brains Foundation. And we interviewed him on LWW back in 2016. And I have the link for that in the show notes. We love Preshow.
You know, you just said all that, but Pedro, I still don't know what it does.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm sort of in that camp because, yeah, in theory, it's something that goes through your music collection and tags everything accordingly. The 20-something gigs of MP3s I have in my external hard drive, I set Picard loose on them, and most of them still got labeled unknown, unknown. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a neat project. It's great that it's open
Yeah.
source, and to keep track of stuff. For if you don't know what an ID3 tag is, and that's not your thing. Good. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not 100% on it.
Yeah. I know Matthew Strider uses it all the time too.
I'm glad it works. No, I'm guessing it basically serves as a backend to other programs.
Yeah.
Though. So
Yeah. It does. It does. That's where I mostly utilize it.
Good times. And as Joe pointed out, all this business will be in our show notes. Link will be in the description, or just head over to Linux Gamecast, where that nightmare fuel will reside. So, why would you want to do this? I don't know, but now you can. That's right. Let's say you need GPS inside of your PC. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. Pedro, why don't you start us off on this? Because it takes an interesting turn of events when you get to the end versus what's actually in this.
Oh, it's awesome.
I read through the thing, and yes, it's a very well written tutorial, and it gives you all the necessary steps about how to use your phone as a GPS anything for your laptop or your computer, whatever. And going from there, I'm like, wait, the new WAN broadband cards that you could get for laptops nowadays, they all have GPS modules in them. You can use those as a GPS thing, and it's actually really hard to find one that doesn't unless you go on eBay. But then again, if you're going on eBay, you can get a GPS card, GPS enabled WAN card for like £3. So, But yeah, no. What I'm saying is, if you have one of those new WAN cards, you don't need your phone. You don't need to go through, admittedly, a very convoluted process just to get that GPS information to your computer.
This is like 4 minutes and 50 lines of code, man.
£3, you plug it in. It's like, oh, look, GPS.
But you would make a horrible MacGyver. You just get shot because it'd give you the stuff to do it, and you're like, nope, just pull the trigger, man. Can't be done.
I recognize that, yes, it is a neat project, and it's Linux Weekly Wednesdays. Neat is basically our bread and butter when it comes to stuff like this.
It's a cool project for getting your GPS data bits into your PC. If you don't have another way to do it and you're curious, maybe you need something to do on a Saturday afternoon. Come on. It could be that. But I mean, it's simple. It's GPSD, Android GPSD client, and GS pipe. That's basically it. And but I 100% agree with Pedro, because I went to the Amazons, and you get like a global set, like a nice GPS for like 30 watt stinky American caches, and that's just USB. Click, done.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Jill, do you like the government tracking you?
No. But I do like that this project uses OpenStreetMap. I thought that was really cool, because that's a really awesome map service. I've actually contributed to it.
Well, that'd be great, man. You can take your UPS, put it in like a buggy with your desktop, and I don't know where I'm going with that. Just
I've
a
never had
shitty looking buggy in a road somewhere. Let's not shoot it down. Oh wait, no.
Hi NSA. It's kind of brilliant. Anyway, fun project. Moving on to something that made me happy for all the wrong reasons, because I've seen several people, screeching about this issue, much to my amusement. So someone has finally sorted it. That something is XFCE panel indicator plugin background fix. Yeah, apparently the colors didn't line up or something, and that actually genuinely distraught, you would think, by reading RxFCE. But here's a quick little fix. It takes 2 seconds. Pedro, you said this is all on GTK3, though, right?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely a GTK3 thing, though in this specific case, it's compounded by the fact that the XFCE panel is built on top of GTK2. So when you mesh the two together, some things don't get inherited properly, and the background color for the indicator plugin is one of them. So yeah, no, with a couple of lines of CSS, all you have to do is replace the at dark BG color from the code that the person left on his blog post there, and just set it to whatever your panel background is, and you're good to go.
I got a better solution. I'll tell you a way to fix it even quicker.
Don't worry about themes.
Don't use it.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Problem solved. Jill, does this type of stuff bother you? Because, I mean, speaking of eyes, I rolled my eyes when I saw this.
No. Really? It actually does. I was really quite happy about this. I've also seen this on GNOME and Unity as an issue as well. So it's not just XFCE.
And my second thought, is there a way to force it to do this? Because I would do it just out of spite, knowing it wouldn't.
Oh, it does it by default now, so yeah.
Hey Vin, all you got to do is give someone a copy of LXDE and it'll be all over the place. Theming issues.
I don't know. Some people like their pretties. I mean, listen, there was a time, long time ago, when I would spend more than, nope, does it work? Is it functional? Okay, let's use it. Like trying to make something pretty, like matching icon sets and stuff. Those days are gone, kids.
No, I still do it. I still do it. I have.
Admittedly, I've fallen back to the mainstream, and it's adapter for the desktop theme and the papyrus icons. And yeah, no, that looks good. That's fair.
I just copy all my configs for all my computers and all the different window managers like Window Maker and Flexbox. It works. You know, I just so I have my nice themes and I just copy them from one computer to the next.
So not my thing, man. Some people like it, though. Some people like it. Kind of like we like you, all the beautiful people making this show possible. 116 patrons, because we got this crazy business model where we just give everything away for free and we don't do ads or anything like that. And you guys like keep doing it. Here's $1 a week. That's all we're asking. 250 per Saturday Night Train Wreck. That's how that works. Becoming a patron, pretty simple, pretty easy. I am one myself. You're going to get access to a gang of stuff, Pedro. What do we have for the beautiful people that throw some quarters at our face?
If you throw some quarters at us, you can get access to the lovely, lovely Discord where everyone else likes to hang out and be generally amazing.
No, it's a ghost town, didn't you? Haven't you read what Strider said? It's a ghost. Nobody's in Discord.
Admittedly, Strider is always trying to pick fights with someone. He always drops the very controversial opinions. They are his legit opinions, but he's always looking for someone to argue with him on it. And it's besides that, you also get access to the super secret sauce that comes with the playlist, which and the RSS feed, of course, that will give you access to the pre super chosen and whatever else we decide to trial that week, I guess.
It is great. You lot make this possible, and we keep on trucking. We're doing like 5 shows a week, something like that. It's kind of terrifying, but we like doing it and keeping us honest. We're able to bring Jill on. We'd like to do more, so head over there and
there's still the promise of a log cabin inside a missile silo somewhere in Kansas.
There is. I mean, now, we do got to think. You know Darkwing and Patron. He's chilling out in our Discord chat. He writes, he sent a little gift for us because you can pick us up some things on our wish zone because we're trying to build out the studio for cool stuff to do extra things and without explosions. Oh.
So he bought us some medicine?
He bought us some medicine because of last week and earlier the week before that, because we're setting up. Jill's coming through her own box, like Jordan. They're on the test box right now, and we're getting everything hammered out. One of the encoders was running on USB 2, which would sporadically go into seizure mode. Which I found hilarious. However, on the receiving end of that, motion sickness, vomit, and all that. And the reason that was is because the 2.0 USB ports needed to be upgraded. So Dan picked us up a 2-port USB 3.0 plug and popped that in PCI. It works at Analytics, and I Thank you, sir. That helps out.
Yay.
Much appreciated.
I've also ordered one more encoder card direct off the slow boat from Singapore. So as I told Jill, somewhere between 12 and 20 days
Yeah.
when that shows up. We're going to give that a try. And I think we only got that. One more little piece. A monitor, just basic things. And we'll have this Bifrost thing kicked in the teeth.
Yay.
Then we can start bringing guests on, because that means everybody's locked into hardware. That means we have a software channel. Like Pedro's on a software channel right now. And then I'm going to set Joe loose. I'm like, all right, Joe, who do you want to talk to? But we got to do them one at a time.
I actually already have a list of people.
I'm willingly doing this to myself, people. So let's take a break and have a slice of pie. Tell me about it.
So the first one is a little bit of a rehash, and thank you very much, Jill, for reminding me that someone decided to create a bit of a UPS for a Raspberry Pi using, you guessed it, another Raspberry Pi.
Was it witchcraft?
Yeah.
No. They used another Pi. They used the Pi Zero as the control board for a 14,500 lithium-ion battery.
Did they call it the Pi Zibbit?
It's not exactly within a Pi, but it's getting there. It's literally just a lithium-ion little power pack mounted on top of the Raspberry Pi Zero, and the Zero controls the power output to the Raspberry Pi 3 that you connect it to. So if you ever lose power, the battery will let you run the Pi for as long as it'll last. So it's interesting. It's fun, yes, but redundant. I mean, you're using a Pi as a control board to power another Pi. Really?
Then you just need to make another smaller. Arduino.
No, then you use those two Pis to drive like an Android tablet.
Listen, you can do it.
Yeah.
This is neat, mainly because it's cute. It's adorable. I want to pinch its little lithium cheeks. And Julia, it's an alternative UPS. But I mean, what are they using in this thing? Some, a 14,500 lithium ion, which I was like, wait a minute. Why do you want to do that? I mean, you should be using like an 18650 or 2700 or 21700, which ironically would probably power up by an entire day if you were doing a heavy load on it.
For a single Pi, absolutely, yeah.
But this is neat because it's smart enough to go, hey man, I got power. Let's charge the circuit. And it'll charge the pile. It's like, I don't have power. I guess if you wanted to do like very limited mobile computing.
They are very clearly targeting this at a UPS.
Pedro, it's me. I'm going to make it do something it's not supposed to.
Yeah, but I'm guessing this is more along the lines, oh, do you have like digital signage that's running Pis in the background?
Yeah.
Well, you can make a bunch of Pi Zero UPSs, attach them, boom, done.
Look, Chibs actually has a very good point. I mean, security cameras, battery backup.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely. And this is smaller than the other ones that we've
remember,
talked about.
kids,
On
steal the security cameras. Good idea.
And the hard drives storing the stuff, because those are usually very good hard drives. Hi, NSA.
Do cloud backup. Seriously. That's the only good thing about Ring is it's too late. I've been meaning to make a sign just like put in the middle of the house. And it's like, yeah, you're on a server somewhere in California. Good luck. Have a picture of Jigsaw. It'd be great. Behind the Shed. What's this about?
Yeah, and the last story is about Shed-built GNU/Linux. Yeah, they went there. So Shell-built GNU plus Linux, as I have recently taken to calling it, is it's a distro that you can use on your ARM prototype, be it a Pi, be it whatever. It's spoilers. It is very much a distro designed at education. It's meant for people who are tinkering with the boards to try and get something to work, but they are very clear to state that this isn't something you should be using in a production environment. It's a tinker thing. It's an education thing, not for actual real world use. They do say it runs stuff like Scum VM and probably several of the Doom, the original Doom source ports. It runs RetroArch, so yeah, that's a gaming machine right there. If you have the prototype board to run it in, and what they do is they specifically build shed-built Linux on ARM for ARM. There's no like cross-compiling, none of that. It's an ARM distro.
What? All right.
Yeah.
I first tried BIOS. I was like, what? Why not Haiku? I mean, seriously, hipster. What were you saying, Jill?
Oh, you know, it was funny that you mentioned BIOS. But this distro is built from the ground up for ARM devices, so that makes it very unique. And it's claiming it's going to use the latest Linux kernel upstream and libraries, which is really awesome because we don't have a distro that does that yet. And you know, Debian and SUSE have versions for the Pi, but it's nice to have for the Pi and other SoC boards, but it's nice to have an ARM exclusive distro. That's really cool because I could also see this as helping with bringing more Linux software to ARM because that has been an issue.
Yeah, and you know, Raspberry Pi Foundation has like rolled out the App Store a couple of weeks back, which was neat. So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
I kind of stay away. I still got to find my Pi 3. I know I have one. I hate knowing something's in the house. And you can't find it. That
you need to buy a Pi to make a Pi detector to find your other Pis.
No, I need to quit checking in the freezer. Don't act like you've never done that. Can't find the car keys. Better check the freezer. You never know.
I check the freezer whenever I miss something because I may have had it in my hand and dropped it in there. It's happened.
All right. Let's get into a little bit of feedback. How can they do that?
Indeed, you can do that very easily by going to linuxgamecast.com. You hit the contact button and make sure you select LWDW from the little drop-downy thing. Then you fill out the rest of the form. It's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory, and we will happy to feature whatever bits of feedback you have, or if we got something wrong, if we got something right, but you didn't think we covered it in as much depth as you would have liked, you can let us know about that too. No promises we will read that on the show, but we will certainly read it for ourselves. There's also YouTube and Patreon. Patreon, of course, gets priority because, yeah, those people are maybe crazy, but we love them.
They're also our bosses.
Yeah. So this week we have whiskey? Whisk.
You alcoholic.
So he's talking about, or they are talking about mobile Linux. Why has nobody managed to make a successful Linux-based phone yet? Ubuntu Phone, Librem 5, and Sailfish have either died or been reduced to curiosities. It's a very good question.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, it started way back when with WebOS. That was
WebOS was a thing. Android runs on top of the Linux kernel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess they're just better alternatives.
Yeah. Well, you get Android running as a VM, basically.
And stuff like the open source Android project, AOSP. It's the base of a multitude of different ROMs for a multitude of different devices. And granted, most of them are just trying to be Android, but would need things. But there are some really dedicated use cases for some of the specific ROMs. So it's just, Android is huge. And it's got tons of support. So it's a very tempting platform.
Yeah, the only way you're going to break into the ecosystem for mobile phones right now with any amount of success is if you have a time machine. Barring that.
Yeah.
Because a multi-billion-dollar company tried to buy their way into the mobile market. That little company was called Microsoft.
Yeah.
They even bought Nokia.
Billions.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it. They tapped out. They're like, oh, it's Apple, it's Android. It sucks. Sailfish is neat. That one person that listens to our show using Sailfish.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yep.
You can listen to us on Sailfish.
Yeah.
Every time, the Ubuntu phone, whatever, that was just market research. That's the only reason they did that little crowdfunding thing. They're like, should we make this? Let's see what the interest is. Because
I like the specs on that phone. Yeah. I really did.
Yeah.
I would like, Linux on a device that would make touch, like, remember when Canonical had Unity out, and I was like, that would make sense on a touchscreen. T-Trader and touchscreen didn't make sense there. Maybe GNOME 3. Hopefully. Yeah. I would like something. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, the KDE Plasma is actually really quite nice on a phone.
Yeah, but then you got to run KDE.
Yeah, but it actually works, I think, better on the phone than it does the desktop. And
see, Plasma Mobile is actually pretty stable compared to the desktop version.
Yeah.
Nah, man, we need a Linux phone, straight CLI.
Yeah, and it's sad because what happened to Firefox OS, and then with Ubuntu, with their synergy. Honestly, with the Ubuntu, I think they were just a little bit too early on it, a little ahead of their time.
See, that's kind of the problem. I know that's a more polite way of saying, a little too early. It's like, there's no room in the market.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the apps are. If Google, I can't install, my YouTubes, my Google stuff, decent web browser, and, then you got all your social media crap, then your mobile's got to work as an actual mobile. I think Sailfish is the closest thing to that, but that's kind of geared more towards feature phones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and correct. It needs a powerful SoC to run on to make it, really, really useful. So Android, for all its shortcomings, for all the Google-ness behind it, it's the king.
Well, except for Google. Google's getting ready to ditch Android.
Oh, yeah, Fuchsia and Chrome.
Yeah, Fuchsia.
Chrome OS is a completely side topic. I've been looking to buy like a personal tablet for me. And I'm really thinking about that Acer Chrome Tab.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's been getting a lot of really good reviews. You're still running that Celeron Intel processor, but it's x86. It's running Chrome. You can get Crouton easy up and running, and the Linux apps with Christini are coming soon. So hey,
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, that's the answer. That's the answer. The Linux OS. Phone is going to be running Chrome OS. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I've been wanting ages ago.
Maybe it'll happen before the eventual heat death of the universe. All right. Last but not least, Avari Tech.
Yeah,
Avari Tech. Yeah.
That's from YouTube. See, we do include these occasionally. Right, dive in. I was wondering if it's possible to use this HDMI capture card, talking about the USB thing I reviewed like 2 weeks ago, or last week, whatever it was. It was a date and with a Y. Capture card with a Raspberry Pi. Is USB 3.0 not a hard requirement, or would it work with USB 2.0? So I did it. Go ahead, since you know.
We kind of already. No. We kind of already answered that.
Now, listen, that's a broad request. I just see the word works. I don't see a modifier to like well or works good or works without giving people seizures.
I'm sure it would work, but it would definitely not work at 60 frames per second. That would be an issue. It's hard enough to just to get the Pi to do full HD correctly. So
basically, I mean, it's a Video for Linux 2 compliant device. A lot of these new capture cards, the one I ordered, the PCI Express version, is just that. I mean, they show up as webcam. So as long as a Raspberry Pi can accept a webcam, it should be able to run this. In 2.0 mode, it'll do 1080 at 30, but that would probably, as Jill said, curb check a Pi, even a Pi 3 Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
You might be able to get away with 720, 30, possibly because, reasons.
With the Pi 3B Plus, if you have a slow enough Ethernet connection, or you're just using Wi-Fi, you can get most of the USB 3 throughput, but you would need a 3B plus.
Well, even the USB,
definitely.
the network interface is running over USB 2 on the Pi Plus.
Yeah.
So no, you wouldn't. You're still limited by the 2.0 bus.
Yeah.
Why even call it USB 3 then?
Well, it's the same reason they call it gigabit. I don't know. Because it's not. I mean, technically, it's a gigabit metal connector there on the end to plug things into. It's just, all right. Anyway, hey, beautiful people, we got to get out of here. It's been fun. We enjoyed hanging out with you. Come check us out. Do you guys do anything tomorrow, Joe?
Jordan and I haven't talked yet, so we don't know what game
they don't have a clue, so tune in at 7:00.
We will later today.
And we'll be back Saturday where Pedro, myself, and Jordan, we're going to talk about that Linus Tech Tips. Is that the full name? Linus Tech Tips? Yep. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that video and why it's awesome and we love it and it's the best thing ever for Linux gaming to date. And it'll be a thing. See, totally cut
Friday
straight.
Foo Bar.
Yep. Oh yeah, Friday trivia night. Come check that business out. It's a show. I don't know how I forgot about it because I hosted. That would have been strange. It's brilliant. All right, we're gonna roll some credits and hopefully they'll be the right ones. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
That video. It's like I mentioned this earlier in the show. It's like 2 big stories about Linux this week. One is about someone trying Linux on their XPS, and the other one is about Linus Tech Tips using Linux. Okay. Or playing games on Linux.
I don't know, man.
The Forbes one though is definitely awesome. It's definitely awesome in terms of the mainstream. So
yeah,
I think that one wins.
Those new XPSs look pretty.
Yes, they're beautiful.
If I ever have to carry a laptop around again, I have made horrible life decisions on top of the questionable ones I've already made.
Yeah, no, I have a 9360 XPS 13 for work. And yeah, I gotta run Windows 10 on it because corporate rules. And yeah.
Yeah, it's easier for them to monitor you on.
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of hoping that September and October roll around, because then Serco won't be in charge of the network anymore. And, well, we get some more leeway.
Yeah, the Forbes article, the guy did good, and then he realized he'd get some more traction out of it. I was like, maybe if I write some more about Linux.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about this on Saturday, but the Linus, I mean, I watched that. It's like, oh boy, this is going to be good. And what you got to realize is Linus, smart dude. Smart, wicked smart. And you're like, but he doesn't. It's like, he does all that for entertainment. He does videos in certain ways on certain topics in order to A, fuel a little bit of controversy, B, to get people to walk and talk and just get on about it.
And in the midst of all the clickbaitiness and the definitely clickbaity thumbnails, he actually makes some good points every now and then, which are very deliberate.
I didn't accuse him of that. But everything that's said in any video is scripted for a reason to cause a certain reaction. And that reaction is to get people engaged and watch the video and stick with it. Maybe scrub through it 2 or 3 times to maybe find something to get them. All that.
Yeah.
The dude has 6 million followers. Well, his company has 6 million followers for a reason.
Yeah.
So watching people get wound up and he's like, here, rah, rah. I was like, man, you're just playing into the system.
Yep.
He's an entertainer.
He's a businessman.
Yep.
Say what you will about Linus. Linus is developing the technology and probably the system that will be the replacement for YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Flow plane.
He's been working on it for what, 2 years now?
They've been putting it together. That has been the dark horse everyone's been talking about. It's like, maybe this is, it's like, no. It's actually quietly being created in like the west coast of Canada of all places. And that's,
Yeah, it's already been being used by some of the tech YouTubers.
it's invite only right now, and they're bringing,
Yeah.
and it's a platform designed for creators, kind of like Patreon. It's a platform designed for creators as opposed to like, oh, here's a not YouTube, but a PayPal button. Click on that every now and then. I never remember like year to year, month to month to like throw some projects, some change. Who was it? There was somebody last week. It was some software project, and they were like, go. I was like, man, I haven't given them any cash in a long time. Someone hooked them up a little bit. Somebody was a little happier that afternoon. But Patreon just makes that easy. That's why I use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not making it rain on anybody, but I got 6 people I back right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm still keeping up with the Patreons for PC Per, because PC Per, and Jim Sterling, because even though his content lately has dropped off a little bit, I really like the basically him going through Steam Early Access and all of the asset flips. I love that. And he hasn't been doing as much of that lately, so... But no, PC Per and Jim Sterling, they're my 2 Patreon things, because it's content I consume regularly.
Exactly. And I back everyone we've interviewed on LWW,
Yeah.
including Iculus and yeah, all the people.
No, that's good. I mean, my simple rule is if I basically do it for things I watch live. Because it's easy for me to justify the expenditure because I haven't had like any type of terrestrial or satellite TV hooked up since like 2001. And it's like if I take time out of my day, you know, what's his name? Leonard French. I think he was the last person I backed on a, because I realized like the 3rd week in a row, and I was like, oh yeah, on Sunday when I'm editing a Saturday night show, I was like, that's about to come on. Let's cut that on in the background. I was like, yeah, all right, here.
Yeah. See, yeah, I do the same. I pretty much listen to all the Linux podcasts out there, so I have about 30 on my Patreon. But I just, you know, to keep it, you know, I do like $1 here, $1 there, you know, because it adds up after. But just even a little bit, you know, like Iculus, I've got a Matt Hartley, I got PC Per.
Yeah, Iculus and Flibbidigibibo before he killed his Patreon were very good sources of just general Linux knowledge.
And I got Popey, Wimpy, and Ikey.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we'll get them on as an interview. I have them on my list.
Oh, Jill, you don't have to worry about that. I'll just call them and be like, yo, you're doing something next Wednesday.
No, I know. But I've already actually started making a list. I have about 40 people on it. Some you don't know about.
Oh, look at these assumptions.
Well, no. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, some of these are people that I've talked to at scale. So, that I put on the list.
I'm sure I can whittle that down to like 3. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, that'll be fun. Oh, since we're live, I was wondering what happened to the 8-bit guy.
He's still doing stuff.
Yeah, he still posts videos.
Okay, well, it was the other one then. It was the guy in the 8-bit guy's... Damn it, I gotta go to YouTube now, don't I? Retro Gaming or something? He was the guy who used to do...
Retro Man Cave.
No,
yes.
No.
Oh.
I'll find it.
8-bit guy's on vacation, says Artherin and Mir.
Yeah.
LGR went on vacation too.
Nope.
Yeah, he had, Retro Man Cave just contacted me.
How do I pull... Oh, there's the history. Oh, let's look at Vin's YouTube history. Pedro sucks. Enter the gungeon. Keep talking, nobody explodes. That's not my history.
Those are your uploads.
Oh, no, that's a different account. Oh, lovely. Damn it. Oh, this is what I hate. Because of the, remember Google Plus, let's give everyone a YouTube channel plus a Google Plus, and let's tie that and...
Do you have a Google account? Now you have an everything account. Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm not touching. Damn, that's gonna bug me though. I'm gonna go find out because I'm logged in on my tablet. We'll hang out for a little bit. But no, I don't know if it was the... I wanted to say it was 8-Bit Guy, but they haven't done a video in like a year.
Yeah, it's not the 8-Bit Guy.
I'll find out. I'll be back.
I'm not subscribed to the 8-Bit Guy, but I watch some of his videos every now and then, and YouTube every now and then. It's like, oh, he put out a new video. Why don't you watch it? Okay. Nixie Pix. She's doing something with some website now. I saw it. Someone. She read a review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her. She was active on Twitter, so that's good.
Well, it's better than taking thousands of dollars of Patreon money without putting out anything, Nixie.
Hi, Massivoni. Yes. 8-Bit Keys. Yeah.
Well, she did have those rewards of saucy photo shoots that she did.
Yeah.
That's a way to get money, I guess.
Yeah.
Mir, I see your sarcasm, and you're not fooling anyone.
I liked it when she was doing segments on Revision 3, and then she got.
And she was with the Escapist for a little bit too.
Yeah.
But then the Escapist went to hell, and now it's basically Yahtzee keeping the Escapist afloat.
The obsolete geek.
Oh yeah. He's another one.
He hasn't made a video in a year. Like, I even creeped on. I was like, I used to watch that guy. And
yeah, I used to too. I think I'm still subscribed to him.
I was. That was my whole thing. I think I was watching like the 8-Bit Guy, and he was in one of his videos, and I was like, wait a minute. Did I unsubscribe to him? Because, hey, it's YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes YouTube just like, you don't need to be subscribed to that person anymore.
So
and so I went and checked, and this was like last night. It's like, wait a minute, no, this last video was a year ago. The Mockingboard 4C. So. Also, YouTube Vanced. Get it. That is the best player YouTube app. It's like they made the YouTube app usable again. It's got a dark mode. It's on XDA. Plus, it's got a neat feature. If you're watching 4x3 videos, you can give it a quick pinch out and it'll auto scale it. Yeah, Nixie Pixel, is she doing anything?
She did something recently.
Yeah, she's been more active. I noticed her on Twitter. And I can't remember what it was. But, let's see. Massivoni just posted a video. I wonder if that's more recent. It looks more recent. Nope, that's an old one. Okay. 2012.
She had a thing going for a minute and just going like poof.
Yeah. Yep. Well, she, like I was telling Pedro, she was on Revision 3. That's really kind of what launched her career. But
right. I don't know, man. Sometimes you like run across things like that, especially with people on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
you'll have like a random video, like, that video is pretty good. Let's go see what the other rest of the stuff, and they're like, they haven't done anything like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, then it's like, well, what happened? The plot thickens. Let's check their Twitter. Let's check their Facebook. No information. Curse.
There was a channel that it's really popular now, but it started like a year or two ago. Salmonella Academy.
Sounds like something you'd watch.
It's about a dude giving these like comical explanations of stuff. It's like history stuff, and he does it in this completely monotone voice. And I like it. I just like it. He's got a sense of humor not too unlike ours. So yeah, I subscribed to it when the channel had like 50 subscribers, and he was releasing a video every single day. And then I don't know what happened. It's like 2 months go by, and all of a sudden he's got like 300,000 subscribers. Like, hello.
Oh wow. That's
Where
cool.
did these people come from?
Then you quit watching him because the guy's watching him when he's underground. Yeah.
No. He puts a video out every 2 weeks or every month, something like that. And he's still pretty good. So I say subscribe.
I'll tell you, if you go and look at our YouTube metrics, like from the day Linus put out the gaming video to like yesterday, I think we gained like 60 subscribers on YouTube. Like,
Awesome.
Oh, Linux gaming, that's a thing.
I posted our link in the Google chat on the YouTube page 3 or 4 times. So
Oh, you're the spammer. Okay.
I just posted the link. I didn't say anything. I just posted it in there.
You're the spammer.
wow, that is spam. It would have been nice if you'd been like, hey.
It's like, yeah, these guys have been doing Linux gaming for
Yeah.
6 years.
September.
Well, I did that on Twitter. So
September 10th. I think it's September 10th will be 8 years since I started LinuxGamecast.com.
yeah. Yeah, that's when you started doing your Let's Plays and
Oh, that's not what it was, Jill. It was like, let's see if we can make this work. This was an
Yeah.
excuse to me to...
yes.
and that tank game that didn't have any audio when you recorded the video is still our most watched video.
It's probably got like 30,000 views or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've never put like any effort or whatsoever into like chasing YouTube numbers because that's like I think Schwood said it. It's like working for a psychotic robot boss that doesn't tell you what it wants,
Yeah.
but will punish you if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like that type of boss, man. Techmoon's cool. I've been watching Techmoon for a long time.
Oh yeah, I support him too. That's one of Steve's favorite. That's something that we can watch together and he enjoys. So
A while back, Extra Credits put out a video about YouTubers. Yeah, you may not have watched. And there was this one guy, I can't remember his name, and I didn't subscribe to him at the time, and I'm going to have to go back to that video to find him again. He's got... The way he does his videos, he tells them with like that historian, like someone who does history programs on TV, like that historian cadence, but he talks about video games. It's like, that sounds awesome. More, please. And I didn't subscribe to it. It's like, damn it.
I was gonna do it just in case. Like, I like things that are well done, like documentaries. And everyone knows. Man, I watched a documentary really good last night on parachutes. I think I'm fucking with you. I'm not.
Knowing you,
that would be
you totally watched it.
you know how they utilize them in World War One, and yeah, that would be interesting.
because I realized what I was doing before I did it. I was like, yeah, I don't know what's worse, that you're about to watch this or you're excited about it. Also, that's that YouTube app. Dark Moon.
Yeah. And advanced YouTube also lets you play in the background if you don't have YouTube Red.
Well, this also lets you sign in with your YouTube Red too.
Mm.
That was one thing I liked about it. Let's see, where were we? Sargon? No, never got into that. I know who you're talking about. Nothing against it. Summoning Salt is very interesting, covering the history of speedrunning games, which I don't care about speedrunning, but it is fascinating to me for some reason. Joe, what's your favorite YouTube channel?
Us. Well, no.
Don't play to the audience. Come on. Be honest.
Oh gosh, I do love the 8-Bit Guy, Lazy Game Review. I listen to so many. It's hard. I like Destination Linux. A lot of the Linux podcasters are really actually my favorite, and the Vintage Computer Collector. And Jupiter Broadcasting, PC Perspective. Yeah.
Want everyone to know there'll be no PC Per this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had those plans, we need to like do like a hoarding with Jill. Be great.
Yeah, Patrick, that's... Yeah, in fact, Vin, I was going to tell you, I was thinking about I'll start doing my vintage computers running Linux on them videos. I really want to do that. Because that's something, because the other YouTubers out there, like Retro Man Cave and all of them, they don't specifically talk about, of course, Linux running on the old hardware. So, so that would be kind of a cool thing.
I don't think well, no, my DEC Alpha has Windows NT on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I have NT4 on it. I have True 64, which was the original OS that came with it, which was Unix based, and of course, I have Debian PowerPC.
Yeah, I have Fedora or a version of Solus, which was Solus before Solus, which is just a version of when Red Hat quit making builds for Spark.
Oh, yeah.
They did their own thing, and that's pretty much on all my Sun hardware. Horribly out of date, still boots.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I try to do is I always keep the OS that came with the computer, and then install Linux, another partition.
I think I might have a copy of HPUX for that deck somewhere.
Oh yeah. That's True 64 was like UX and IRIX.
Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, you got to do like a modern retro thing where you have like, okay, for this retro computer's a quad-core Intel running a GeForce.
Yes. Well, there's that too. I have lots of Xeons here.
I just laugh. It's like a retro. I remember buying that. That's not retro.
I know. That's not, no.
I retro gaming, GameCube. Sorry, not retro.
What would be kind of interesting is if I could find the oldest piece of hardware that I could still do an LGC broadcast with.
That's Steve. What?
True that.
Oh, geez, who cares?
But I think that would be really cool. Like, I've got some, start maybe with a little bit newer, maybe like a Pentium 3, and see how much I can get out of it. to do like a Friday Foo Bar with or something.
You people shouldn't make fun of Steve. That's mean.
No. Arthur, poor Steve husband. He's gonna. That was funny.
What's like the oldest, slowest usable thing you have laying around, Pedro? Usable. By usable, I mean you can watch a YouTube video.
The T42, 2005.
Hmm?
Yeah. It runs Lubuntu 1804, man.
Yeah, powered up and working. Ooh. The old box of business is the oldest thing I have, like, currently powered up.
Oh, you know, and my dual Pentium Pro that I did 10 years of animation work on, that would probably do okay. I've got a real Magic Hollywood Plus card in it, and I'll, you know, I probably would be able to broadcast from that one. It's still a pretty darn good machine, even though it's so old.
You could try it, see what you get away with.
Yeah, that might be kind of fun. That's an idea. Yeah, because I was thinking about that the other day. Maybe I should, you know, do a broadcast from like the oldest piece of hardware I have in here. See which one I could actually use.
You know, I mean, put it on like blazing 240i at 24 frames a second.
Yeah. Well,
no, what you got to do is set up a real media streaming encoder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And make people install Real Play. Can you still get Real Player for that?
Yes, yeah, it's still available. It still works. It's in the Debian repositories.
Of course, Debian has it.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, it's an EXE. Boo.
Oh, speaking of Real Player is one of the ones that funded the Music Brains project. So there's some technology that they've gone back and forth on that. I was reading about that somewhere when I was doing the research.
Of course you're going to show me a video. You've seen it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been wanting to do is, you know, I've digitally backed up a lot of my radio shows, but I had started that back in the 90s when Real Player was a thing. So I've got them on all these old formats. I have a lot of waves too, but still, I need to go through the tapes again and start doing some more recent, using more recent codecs.
I got a video for you, Pedro. See if you can get Real Player up and working on Linux in 2018.
Yeah, that would be cool, Pedro.
I do have next week off.
I'm just saying.
Let's see, Real.
There you go. Easy mode.
Oh yes, I have lots of ADB keyboards. Quite a few of them. Yeah, some of the Macs, of course, won't start up without them.
The only thing I want, I don't even know why I want it, is like a Next Cube.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm almost crying because that is at the top of my wish list on eBay for years.
Now, I'm not talking about the desktop one they made. I'm talking about the Cube.
Yeah, the Cube. Yeah. I've been wanting that for ages, and the last one I saw good working was like $800.
Oh, I would have bought that.
Yeah. Well, at the time I couldn't afford it. So that was when I was a student, but there are, you know, thousands now. So, but I actually used one when I was going to Cal State. And oh, I love that machine. Well, that's one of the reasons I love Window Maker, because that's where Window Maker came from.
Well, I mean, I used I'm fairly familiar with it, even though it's been a long time, because that was the first thing I used on Linux when I finally got X up and working was AfterStep.
Yeah. Oh, I love AfterStep. Yeah. I still
Which
use
is
it.
next step, you know?
Yep. Exactly. Cool, Patrick. But yeah, no, the next cube is, it's been at the top of my list. And even Steve Husband, he looks for him and he sees, you know, $5,000. And I'm like, oh God. Yeah. But you can get the desktops cheap, the black and white slabs. You can get those for a few $100s. And I was thinking of getting one just to, so I just can run Next on the original machine.
Play Doom on it.
Yeah, there's that too. You could play ASCII Doom on it.
You can play Doom on it. Carmack, walked through the snow to get his.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed by that. I was like, huh. What would be the oldest piece of Linux software that hasn't been up? What was the nonlinear video editor that had like a interface that made blenders look intuitive?
I think I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
I'll be damned if I can remember it.
On Linux or on Windows? Or...
Oh, no, Haiku, Jill. Haiku.
Oh, on Haiku. Oh,
I'm
okay.
being facetious. Of course, Linux. Cinderella, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Cinderella. Yeah, and that
Broadcast
actually was
2000, I believe it was originally called.
Yeah.
Like that.
And that one was pretty good, except that it crashed a lot. It definitely had stability issues. But I liked it. Yeah, the interface was not that great, but it was one of the first.
You can definitely say interface with like air quotes.
Yeah, yes.
Nope, that's the GNU public license. Where is the README? There's the README.
Yeah, you should see. I have the very first version of Premiere before Adobe had it. We used to use it in the 90s in our class on a 486 and a 386. Still runs. It'll still run in Windows 10. Wind blows, but it runs in Wine, actually really good. But yeah, when video editors became a thing, it made my life a whole lot easier in the animation. Because it used to be you had to do, you had to export everything, do target sequences and JPEG sequences, and had to use traditional analog editors to edit them all together. I did that for years. And it was just so nice when we had a digital option finally.
Strider, do you still have a source build of OBS laying around? If you do, could you compile that?
Yeah, Alan, it was actually. Oh, speaking of Cinelera, it is now come back in the world. I haven't played with this new beta, but they do have a new release. Someone took over the project, and I was really happy to hear that because it was one of the most sophisticated video editors for Linux, of course, but just in general, it had a lot of effects that others didn't. So yeah, it's still around.
No, Google, I do not mean Cinderella.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a thing. Appears to be.
Yeah, but they had stopped development for a lot of years, and it's come back. So it's a big deal.
Ooh.
Yeah, 7.0. But it's been...
Over 5 million downloads and 4,999,000 were like, nope, as soon as they saw that interface. Oh, yeah, that's the nightmare fuel I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah, yep. But it's much nicer looking now than it was.
Since 1998, yeah.
It's not the god-awful weird blue and oranges. You remember it was turquoise. Turquoise and oranges. See, now it looks more like a Premiere.
I just remember it had a billion of windows, kind of the GIMP approach.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, why are you doing your interface like this? And the kids, this is like 98. They're like, because of multiple monitors. And people's like, people don't have multiple monitors. Why you do your interface like this? Come on.
I'm glad we're talking about that because I keep meaning to download it. The new version 7.0. Okay, we should talk about it. I'll play around with it.
Well, at least they're still rolling on. They did I mean, Acadian Live does what it needs to do. And,
yeah.
It has some infuriatingly undocumented features. What are you doing, Pedro? It looks like you're taking a poop.
No, I was looking at the real player stuff. It's like all the download links are dead.
Archive.org, baby.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people have done installing modern Linux on old hardware.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you do, right? You get an old PC, install modern Linux on it. Look, you can do modern things.
Why don't you see if you can get a copy of Red Hat 6 up and running? On Horizon. Difficulty, no Google.
Ooh.
Okay, source code testing.
Yeah, I remember lives. I mean,
Oh yeah, that was hell. But yeah, that used to be one of the only options. Actually, the very first video editor under Linux is actually technically the GIMP, because with the animation, you could do editing, some editing, light editing on it as well, and it was the first program to allow that on Linux, even before lives.
BIOS booting? Probably. Mm-hmm. That's one thing about these Dells, the business computers. They're like, we have regular, normal, sane booting, and we have this crazy boot. Which one would you like? I was like, oh, do I got to go in the BIOS? And it's like, no. We have a pre-BIOS thing with its own set of menus.
Yeah, that's the way Dells work.
I haven't had any issues with UEFI and Linux, fortunately. I will say one negative thing about the the MSI B350, the UEFI, unlike my Tomahawk motherboard for the 8150, doesn't have an included web browser.
Oh. Oh yeah, the Helix player, Patrick. Yep. That's what we used to use in Linux to...
Yeah, we used to have to use a gang of that stuff. Then for a while, like in the late 90s, there was the M Player plugins.
Yeah.
For Netscape Navigator 4.
And the ASF.
Mm-hmm. I could play the Microsoft junk too.
Yeah.
And then we had Flash that came out. You know, Nash never became a working product before Flash died. When you think
I know.
about it.
That was what was really sad. It was such a good project, too.
Also, Mir, all of those links are dead. Trust me, I tried.
It's probably on the Pirate Bay if you could find a paid version.
Yeah.
UEFI is great.
Anyway, Wi-Fi is fine. Just stay away from secure boot.
Yeah, that.
Hi, empty.
Empty. Let me know if you get a chance to take a look at that thing and the document in the place. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As we speak in codes in the public. All right. I think that's gonna do us. Got anything else going on? How many of those 30 Stellas do you have left?
24.
Okay, write that down, kids. We'll see how many he has left Saturday.
Possibly 23.
Hey, I'm going to church Sunday. Right after I get done installing 110.
See, I don't drink as much unless I'm talking and my throat gets parched.
It's not my fault. It's the larynx. It's my uvula. It craves. All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, no. There's no way you get it. But you could put it in dumb boot mode.
Yeah, I'll put it in legacy mode.
On an NVMe drive.
Oh, yeah, see, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I don't know about 1810, but 1604, it picked up the NVMe drive. The BIOS and the B350 doesn't even see the NVMe drive. It doesn't, man. I mean, it's got a thing there to show anything connected, and it's like, ain't nothing there, man. It's like, I remember when I first stuck it together, I was like, oh, this is going to be some hot, spicy BS. This is going to take all day to figure out how to get this to. And Ubuntu 1604, I was like, no, I see it. I didn't even trust it. I was like, yeah, you say you see it. Let's see what happens. And it worked, so.
No, the Asus Prime B350. It sees it. It shows it's like, oh, it's a Western Digital Black 256 gig NVMe SSD. Oh, okay, all right.
As long as it works, that's all I care about. So, cool. Yeah, UEFI is a thing, man. Can't fight against it. It's like fighting against System D.
Yeah.
It's like, just embrace the stupidity. It's here to stay.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, but init scripts. And it's like, are we going to really try to have a conversation where it wasn't a hot mess already?
It was the Wild West, but it wasn't, you know, Wild West that you can blame on a single person, which is what System D is. Well, yeah, let's blame Leonard for everything.
I understand the arguments for and against it, but that's not a hill I want to die on. Okay, beautiful people. We're going to bounce out, and we'll see you next week. Been fun. Been real.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Smooth jazz.
I like it.